Before you can focus on yourself, you must first know who yourself truly is. Most people spend their entire lives trying to become what others expect, chasing approval, validation, and applause, but never stopping to ask, who am I really? We live in a world that constantly tries to define us. Family expectations, social media comparisons, societal standards, they all push you to be someone else. You're told what success should look like, what happiness should feel like, what dreams are realistic. But the truth is, none of those definitions belong to you. Focusing on yourself begins with peeling away every false label. It means standing in front of the mirror, not just to fix your hair or your outfit, but to look into your own eyes and ask, who am I when nobody's watching? That's the moment of awakening. It's when you realize that your journey is not about proving your worth to others. It's about discovering your worth for yourself. You must become your own mirror, your own coach, your own motivator. You must learn to trust your voice even when it trembles. You must give yourself permission to dream differently, to walk your own path, even if no one claps for you yet. When you know who you are, distractions lose their power. You no longer crave attention because you've already given yourself validation. You no longer chase approval because your mission fuels you from within. So take time to be alone. Solitude is not loneliness, it's self-connection. Sit in silence and listen to the voice beneath the noise. Read, write, meditate, reflect. Ask yourself what excites me even when no one is watching. What drains my energy? What am I doing because I want to, not because I have to? The moment you answer those honestly, you begin to meet the real you, the version unshaped by pressure or fear. And here's the truth: once you know yourself, you can't unknow it. Once you realize your worth doesn't depend on likes, followers, or applause, you'll stop chasing shadows and start chasing purpose. When you truly focus on yourself, you stop being in competition with others. You're no longer in a race. You're on a journey, and that's when peace enters your life. Not because everything's perfect, but because you're finally aligned with your truth. Comparison is the thief of joy and the destroyer of focus. Every time you compare yourself to someone else, you take your eyes off your own growth. You stop watering your garden because you're too busy admiring someone else's flowers. But remember this: no two journeys are ever the same. No two timelines are identical. Everyone blooms in their own season. Some people shine early, others rise later, and both are equally powerful. When you compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, you rob yourself of appreciation for how far you've come. You begin to feel like you're behind, when in truth, you're just becoming. The world today is louder than ever. Social media shows you highlight reels, not behind the scenes struggles. You see the results, not the late nights, the heartbreaks, the rejections, the doubts, and you start believing that success came easily to them. It didn't. That's why focusing on yourself means detoxing from comparison. Start by limiting your exposure to things that make you feel less. Unfollow people or pages that trigger envy or self-doubt. Replace comparison with curiosity. Instead of saying, why not me? Say, what can I learn from them? Because inspiration is healthy, but comparison is poison. Remember, nobody can be you. Nobody can think, create, speak, or live exactly like you. That's your power. You're not supposed to walk their path. You're supposed to walk yours with confidence, not competition. Start celebrating your small wins. Your progress matters. The only person you need to be better than is the person you were yesterday. Once you let go of comparison, your mind clears. You start hearing your intuition again. You start seeing opportunities that were always there but hidden behind jealousy or doubt. Focus on your pace. Focus on your growth. Because the moment you stop comparing, you become unstoppable. Motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. You can't focus on yourself without discipline. It's the bridge between your dreams and your reality. Every successful person you admire, athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, they all share one trait. They don't rely on motivation. They rely on discipline. They do it whether they feel like it or not. When you focus on yourself, you must make a choice. Will you wait for the perfect mood, or will you build the right habits? Discipline means showing up every single day, especially on the days you don't feel like it. It's waking up early, staying consistent, eating right, training your mind, reading, learning, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you grow stronger, you silence excuses, you train your brain to obey your vision. And the secret is this: discipline gives you freedom. The freedom to create, to achieve, to design your life. Start small. Build daily rituals, a morning routine that sets your tone. A few non-negotiables, like reading 10 pages a day, journaling or exercising, setting goals and tracking progress. When you keep promises to yourself, your self-respect grows. And when you respect yourself, you naturally focus on yourself. People will call you obsessed. Let them. The ones who call you obsessed are the ones who quit when it got hard. Stay consistent. Focus is the new luxury in a distracted world. Remember, motivation fades, but discipline, once built, becomes who you are. Focusing on yourself isn't selfish. It's strategic. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't give what you haven't built. Growth is your responsibility. It doesn't happen automatically. You must invest in it intentionally every day. Every day, feed your mind with knowledge. Read books that stretch your perspective. Listen to podcasts that challenge you. Surround yourself with people who inspire, not drain you. Growth means choosing progress over perfection. You don't have to be the best. You just have to be better than you were yesterday. Set goals that excite you but also scare you, because comfort zones don't build champions. Every time you step out of comfort, you expand your capacity. Invest in your body. Your energy is your engine. Eat clean, move daily, rest deeply. Invest in your mind. Your thoughts shape your reality. Speak positively about yourself. Invest in your spirit. Your faith and gratitude will keep you grounded when challenges come. Remember, focusing on yourself doesn't mean isolating from others. It means strengthening yourself so you can show up better for the world. The stronger your roots, the higher your tree can grow. Your growth is your greatest gift to others. Because when you rise, you give others permission to rise too. Your focus is sacred. Your energy is limited. Don't waste it on negativity, gossip, or people who don't want to grow. Protecting your energy means setting boundaries, not out of arrogance, but out of self-respect. Stop explaining yourself to those who don't understand your journey. Stop arguing with people committed to misunderstanding you. Learn to say no, not because you're rude, but because your dreams deserve your full attention. Every time you say yes to something unaligned, you say no to your purpose. Protect your vision like it's your oxygen. Don't share it with everyone. Not everyone can see what you see. Some will doubt, some will mock, some will discourage. That's okay. They weren't given your vision for a reason. Keep your eyes forward. Keep your heart pure. Keep your purpose clear. The road to self-focus isn't easy. There will be distractions, critics, and setbacks. But if you keep your energy clean and your vision alive, you will rise above all of it. Because when you focus on yourself, truly focus, you become the kind of person no storm can shake, no failure can break, and no critic can stop. Your life changes the moment you realize this truth. You are not here to compete. You are here to create. You are not here to please everyone. You are here to become your best self, and you are not here to fit in. You are here to stand out by being fully you. So stop waiting. Stop doubting. Stop comparing. Focus on yourself. Your future self is waiting, and they are proud of the person you're becoming. To focus on yourself, the first step, and arguably the most important step, is knowing who you truly are. Many people spend their lives drifting, reacting to outside influences, and chasing approval. They define themselves by titles, social status, or material possessions instead of understanding their own inner essence. But focusing on yourself is impossible without a deep understanding of yourself, your values, strengths, weaknesses, dreams, and fears. The mirror moment, I want you to imagine standing in front of a mirror. Not just a mirror to check your appearance, but a mirror to confront your life, your decisions, and your true identity. It's a scary moment for many people because most of us avoid looking too closely. We fear what we might find: insecurity, failures, unresolved pain, or the parts of ourselves we've ignored. But the truth is, without this self-reflection, your journey will always be dictated by external influences. Knowing yourself requires courage. It requires that you face your doubts, your habits, and your desires without judgment. It means asking questions that most people avoid. Who am I when nobody is watching? What excites me deeply, beyond money or recognition? What fears have been holding me back for years? What are the patterns in my life that repeat themselves over and over? These questions are uncomfortable, yes, but they are the foundation of personal clarity. Once you understand the core of who you are, you no longer let society, family, or peers define your decisions. You live deliberately, not reactively. The cost of not knowing yourself: consider the stories of people who never took the time to understand themselves. Many go through life working jobs they dislike, staying in relationships that drain them, or chasing dreams that aren't theirs. They live to meet expectations, not their own aspirations. Over time, this creates frustration, anxiety, and emptiness. A famous example is the story of John, a man who worked for decades in corporate America. On the outside, he looked successful: a high-paying job, a respectable title, and the admiration of colleagues. But deep inside, he felt trapped. Every day, he woke up questioning why he was doing the work he hated. Only after losing a major project did John take the time to reflect. He asked himself, "What do I truly want my life to be?" The answer changed everything. He discovered a passion for writing, teaching, and mentoring. Today, John runs his own business, follows his passion, and wakes up excited every morning. The lesson is clear: if you don't know yourself, you risk spending your life in roles that aren't meant for you. And the cost isn't just professional, it's emotional and spiritual. Discovering your values are the compass that guide every decision you make. They are the principles that matter most to you. Some people prioritize freedom, others integrity, creativity, family, or financial security. The key is to identify them clearly. Without this compass, you drift aimlessly, vulnerable to distractions and other people's agendas. Start by listing moments in your life when you felt truly fulfilled. What was happening? Who were you with? What did you achieve? The patterns in these moments reveal your core values. For example, if you felt happiest helping others, your values may include service and compassion. If you felt alive creating something new, your values may include creativity and innovation. If you felt proud achieving a goal despite difficulties, your values may include perseverance and self-discipline. Once you identify your values, make them non-negotiable. Let them guide your decisions. When faced with a choice, ask, does this align with my values? If the answer is no, the right decision becomes obvious. Understanding your strengths and weaknesses. Self-knowledge also involves understanding your strengths and weaknesses. Many people obsess over weaknesses, trying to fix everything. But the truth is, you grow faster when you focus on your strengths while managing weaknesses strategically. Strengths are the areas where you naturally excel. They energize you and bring the best results. Weaknesses are areas where effort is required. They can drain you if ignored, but they can be mitigated with systems, tools, or collaboration. A practical exercise is to write down 3 strengths and 3 weaknesses. Then ask, how can I use my strengths more effectively? And How can I prevent my weaknesses from holding me back? Consider athletes or musicians. They don't become champions by focusing only on weaknesses. They build on their unique talents and develop routines to compensate for what they lack. The same principle applies to life. The power of solitude, knowing yourself, requires solitude. In a world full of distractions, constant noise, and social pressures, true clarity can only emerge in moments of quiet reflection. Solitude allows your inner voice to emerge. It's in those moments that you can hear your intuition, evaluate your goals, and understand your desires. Start small, set aside 15-30 minutes a day without your phone, social media, or distractions. Sit quietly, journal, or meditate. Ask yourself, am I living in alignment with my values? Am I spending time on what truly matters? Over time, this practice transforms your life. You become aware of toxic habits, unhelpful relationships, and wasted energy. You begin to prioritize what truly matters. Aligning your life with your identity, the ultimate goal of knowing yourself is alignment. When your actions, habits, and decisions reflect who you truly are, life becomes easier and more fulfilling. You no longer feel drained by obligations that don't matter. You start waking up with purpose. For example, if creativity is your core value, yet your job demands repetitive work, you may feel frustrated and unfulfilled. Knowing yourself allows you to make choices, whether to change careers, start a side project, or dedicate time to creative pursuits that align with your identity. Alignment also attracts the right people into your life. When you are authentic, you naturally draw those who resonate with your energy and values. You build a network of relationships that uplift rather than drain. Practical steps to know yourself: journaling. Spend 10 to 15 minutes a day writing your thoughts, feelings, and reflections. Track patterns over time. Reflection questions: ask yourself, what am I passionate about? What drains me? What do I stand for? Personality and strength assessments. Tools like MBTI or StrengthsFinder can provide insights into tendencies and talents. Feedback. Ask close friends or mentors how they see your strengths and growth areas. But balance this with your own understanding. Experimentation. Try new experiences. Travel, volunteer, learn new skills. Each experience teaches you more about your preferences and values. The freedom of self-knowledge. Once you truly know yourself, a remarkable thing happens: freedom. Freedom from comparison, freedom from fear of judgment, freedom from chasing paths that aren't yours. You begin to live intentionally, driven by purpose rather than obligation. Your choices become clearer. Your focus sharpens. You no longer expend energy on what doesn't matter. You can finally say no to distractions and yes to what truly nourishes your soul. Comparison is one of the most destructive habits we unknowingly engage in. It quietly erodes self-confidence, steals joy, and distracts us from our own path. Every time you measure yourself against someone else, you dim your own light. To focus on yourself, you must stop comparing yourself to others. This doesn't mean you ignore inspiration or learning from others. It means you stop letting others' lives define your worth. The trap of comparison. Think about social media. Every day, millions of people scroll through feeds filled with highlight reels, vacations, promotions, perfect bodies, achievements. You see a photo, a post, or a success story, and suddenly your own life feels less than. This is the comparison trap. Judging your behind the scenes against someone else's highlight reel. It's unfair to yourself, unrealistic, and ultimately a recipe for unhappiness. When you compare, you focus on what you lack rather than what you have. You measure success in other people's terms, not your own. And over time, it leads to self-doubt, jealousy, and stagnation. Imagine a young artist who spends hours scrolling Instagram, seeing other artists with thousands of followers. She starts thinking, I'll never be good enough. My work isn't worth sharing. Instead of creating, she stagnates, paralyzed by comparison. Meanwhile, if she focused on improving her craft and sharing her authentic work, She could build her unique audience without measuring herself against others. Why comparison is meaningless. Here's a truth we often forget. No two journeys are the same. Everyone has different circumstances, experiences, resources, and timing. Comparing yourself to someone else is like racing a person on a different track with different hurdles and expecting the same results. Consider two people. One is born into wealth, the other grows up in poverty. One has access to top education, mentors, and networks. The other must overcome systemic obstacles. Both may be equally talented, but their timelines, opportunities, and paths differ. Comparing them is meaningless. It distracts from your own growth and purpose. Even among peers with similar opportunities, people develop at different speeds. Some bloom early, some late. Some fail fast and learn, others take time to gain clarity. Your season is unique to you. Comparing yourself to others blinds you to the opportunities in your own life and the progress you are already making. The psychology behind comparison is deeply rooted in human psychology. Evolutionarily, humans have survived by observing others, learning from them, and measuring social status. In small communities, it helped with survival and group cohesion. But in modern life, with social media and endless access to other people's lives, it becomes harmful. Psychologists explain that comparison triggers the brain's reward and fear systems. When we see someone succeed, we either feel envy, says fear of being left behind, or inadequacy, perceived lack of ability. Both responses distract us from focusing on our own growth. To break the habit, we must retrain our brain to focus inward. Instead of looking outward for validation, we look inward for progress. How comparison steals your energy. Comparison is more than a mental habit. It's an energy thief. Every time you measure yourself against someone else, you divert mental, emotional, and physical energy from your own path. You spend time worrying, doubting, or envying instead of creating, learning, or acting. Consider the story of Michael, an entrepreneur. Every day, he compared his startup to competitors with higher revenue, larger teams, and more investors. He felt stressed, demotivated, and constantly behind. When he finally stopped comparing and focused on serving his own customers, developing his product, and following his own vision, his business began to thrive. He realized that his energy was far more powerful when invested in building himself, not in chasing someone else's success. Transforming comparison into curiosity. Comparison only becomes harmful when it fuels self-criticism. But if channeled correctly, it can become curiosity and learning. Instead of asking, why am I not like them? Ask, what can I learn from their journey? How can I adapt their strategies to fit my unique path? What strengths do I have that they don't? This subtle shift transforms comparison from a negative habit into a growth tool. You become inspired, not envious. You become motivated, not defeated. The stories of those who stopped comparing. History is full of examples of people who achieved greatness by ignoring comparison. Albert Einstein struggled academically as a child. He was considered slow by teachers and often compared to peers. But instead of succumbing to doubt, he focused on his curiosity and passion for understanding the universe. Today, he is celebrated as one of the greatest minds in history. J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, faced rejection after rejection from publishers. She could have compared herself to other successful writers and given up. Instead, she focused on her story, her creativity, and her unique voice. Her perseverance created a legacy that comparison never could have inspired. Steve Jobs was often criticized and compared to competitors in technology, but he focused relentlessly on his vision for Apple, thinking differently and building products that changed the world. Each of these examples illustrates that true success comes not from measuring yourself against others, but from focusing on your own growth, creativity, and values. Practical steps to stop comparing: limit social media. Social media is a highlight reel, not reality. Unfollow accounts that trigger envy or self-doubt. Replace scrolling with reading. reflection, or creative work. Celebrate small wins. Write down 3 achievements each day, no matter how small. Celebrate them. Progress matters more than perfection. Focus on self-improvement. Set personal goals that challenge you. Track your progress and compare yourself only to your past self, not others. Practice gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have. Start a gratitude journal. Every day, list 3 things you're grateful for. Your health, relationships, skills, or opportunities. Surround yourself with positive influences. Build relationships with people who inspire growth rather than competition. Seek mentors, collaborators, and friends who encourage your journey. Affirm your unique value. Repeat affirmations daily like, I am on my own path. My worth is not measured by others. I create my own success. The freedom that comes with focus. When you stop comparing, you gain freedom. Freedom to follow your passion without fear. Freedom to take risks without hesitation. Freedom to live on your own terms. Your energy is no longer drained by envy or doubt. Your focus sharpens. You begin to see opportunities that were always there but hidden behind jealousy and distraction. You build resilience, self-confidence, and clarity. Imagine running a race without looking at the runners beside you. You're faster, more focused, and less distracted. That is what life feels like when you stop comparing. Closing thought for key point 2: comparison is a habit, but habits can be changed. It starts with awareness, noticing when you compare, understanding why, and intentionally redirecting your focus. The moment you stop measuring your life against others, you reclaim your power, your joy, and your focus. You realize that the only person you need to become better than is the person you were yesterday. Focus on yourself. Build your path. Measure progress by your own standards, and success will follow naturally.